No way did the Winnipeg Jets just do this. Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Jets have gone ahead and signed another player today on July 1st during free agent frenzy. Of course, we are talking about former Cup winner Tanner Pearson. The Jets have signed him to a deal for 1 year, $1 million. And we're going to talk all about this deal, where Tanner Pearson's going to fit in on this team, and why I'm not all that excited to be bringing in the former Stanley Cup winner. But before we jump into the video here, make sure you do throw us a subscription on our last video. Couldn't help but notice there was about 82% of you who were not subscribed, who were watching our last video. Make sure you throw Jets Digest a subscription. We're going to be talking about the Jets if they make any more moves in the future. Of course, we're sitting here waiting on our hands and knees, begging for Nikolai Ehlers to be coming back. Of course, it's not looking likely, but never say never. So, anyways, let's hop into what the topic of today's video is, which of course is Tanner Pearson. So, let's head over to our announcement here. Once again, from Darren Dreger, the classic insider for the Jets. Him and Kevin Cheveldayoff go way back, so always good place to follow him. He always will get you guys some insider news. So, Tanner Pearson signs with the Winnipeg Jets. 1 year, $1 million. Another contract for 1 year, $1 million being tweeted out by Darren Dreger. Of course, if you watched our last video, you know that last one was Cole Koepka. But this video is about Tanner Pearson. So, let's hop over to his stat card. Last year, he was playing with the Vegas Golden Knights. He has had a long career. He's played for the Kings. He's played for the Penguins. He's played for the Canucks. And most formerly, the Vegas Golden Knights. He played 78 games there. He played, he scored 12 goals, had 15 assists for 27 points. And as you can see, his time on ice was not that high. At this point in this guy's career, he is a bottom of the roster player. So, at very least, you can say, hey, you know, he won a cup, right? He won a cup, so that's why we're bringing him in. So, when we really talk about that, though, we're talking about a cup that was won over 10 years ago. This is going back to 2013 when the Kings won the cup. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of sick of the, oh, they've won cups thing, you know? It's one of the reasons we brought Jonathan Toews here. We already got that guy here. So, but it's also frustrating and dumb to get really upset about a deal that's, you know, 1 year, $1 million. It's a deal that is variable in the AHL, or, you know, if it just doesn't work out, sometimes it can lead to mutual termination. But that's usually not how the Winnipeg Jets operate. When they sign a guy, they usually sign him because they want him. And, of course, it can be tough to get players to come into Winnipeg. Whereas with this guy here, you know, we didn't have to pay too much of a premium for him. It's kind of the standard, you know, a guy who's been around the league and, you know, has some value and whatever, type of deal where, you know, 1 year, $1 million. But the reason that I think that he wanted to come here is because he has some ties with a couple different Jets players. First of all, we can talk about Mark Scheifele. Him and Tanner Pearson played together on the Barrie Colts, which was both of their junior teams. There's a video I saw floating around Twitter. If you search up Nick Lynham, he retweeted it. It's a video of basically Scheifele and Pearson talking about, you know, becoming really good buddies and loving playing together and this and that. I don't expect these guys to be playing together on a line this year or anything. But if we also go back to that cup year with the Kings, he also knows Alex Iafallo. Him and Iafallo have played together for many, many years, you know, earlier in their careers, of course. But, you know, at very least, he knows some guys. It makes sense why he's coming here in that regard. But what I don't think makes a ton of sense is the reason the Winnipeg Jets brought him in. Let's just go over to his stat card really quickly. I just screenshotted here about the last 10 years, 10 or 9 years that he was playing in the league. You can see that he has nothing really here that's jumping out of the page. No seasons where he was even, you know, a point per game or anything like that. You know, most recently, his best season in goals scored was in before the pandemic with the Canucks, where he scored 20 goals. But since then, you know, he's had a lot of injuries. He hasn't played a ton of games. The 30s, you know, Tanner Pearson's 30s have been rough to him. Unfortunately, he has not aged too gracefully. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm not super psyched on this deal here. Let's move over to his Jay Fresh card. Once again, if you don't know Jay Fresh, make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He's one of the best people to follow. He'll tweet out these player cards that give a lot more information than just, the standard stat cards can give you on, how a player ranks. And if you don't know, red is bad. And when you see a percentage, it just means where he ranks in the league. So his projected WAR, which is wins above replacement, is around 3%. So he is better than 3% of the rest of the players in the league when it comes to producing wins above replacement, which is a whole other thing. I'm not even going to get into explaining what that is. You can look it up on your own. But basically, it just means, being able to do things that lead to wins, scoring goals, creating offense, and, stopping defense, pressing it down. I'm sorry, whatever. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's move on. So yeah, let's look at his stat guard here. As you can see, lots and lots of red here. He's not a finisher. He's not a guy who generates too much offense. He's not a guy who's good defensively, which the Jets usually like to have a guy like that in their bottom six who is good defensively. That's usually the types of players that they like to go for, since they use them in more utility kind of roles, whether they're, on the PK or the power play. This guy doesn't do either of those things. So I'm really not psyched on this deal whatsoever. And how many fourth line players do the Winnipeg Jets already have? They just signed another guy, Cole Koepka, who is, again, a fourth liner, third liner, maybe, kind of in the same way that, Mason Appleton was a third liner. On any other team, he'd be a fourth liner, obviously. But, we have David Gustafsson, Morgan Barron, who's an RFA. I would expect that to get done any time during the offseason here. Who else? Obviously, Rasmus Kupari has left to go play in Switzerland. But the Jets have a ton of guys who can play in their bottom six. And this is not even one of those kind of guys who you can go, okay, well, yeah, maybe he doesn't provide the defensive stuff. He's not a special teams guy. But, if you get some injuries, this guy can jump up in the lineup. I have no faith at this moment in Tanner Pearson's career that he's going to be a guy who can be relied upon if you need a guy to, jump up with Scheifele if, Gabe Vilardi's out. There's tons of other guys who will be doing that instead of this guy. It'll be a guy like Iafallo, Niederreiter, Vlad Nemestikov, who's probably potentially might get kicked out of the top six this year, but has shown that he can be a serviceable player. So for this one here, again, I know I'm getting in a tizzy over a guy who is signed for 1 year, $1 million, but as we get, throughout the offseason here, the Jets still have a lot of players to sign. We have to give extensions to Dylan Samberg, to Gabe Vilardi, Morgan Barron. Those three guys, obviously, and of course, we're still waiting for news to come out on what is going to happen with Nikolai Ehlers. So it's going to be a very interesting thing, as we continue on through this offseason to see where Tanner Pearson fits into this lineup. In general, like I said, fourth line guy. You can see here, this is the lines that are given by Daily Faceoff. Of course, these are just guesses. We have no idea where we expect these players to be. And of course, there is, Rasmus Kupari on there who is already signed elsewhere. So I just don't expect the lines to look like this, but this is just a general idea of, the current depth chart when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets. But alas, I've yapped on and on about why I don't think this is a great signing. Let me know what you guys think in our comment section. Obviously, please leave a like on the video. Have yourself a good one. We have lots more Jets news coming, and I'll be here to talk to you guys about it with you. Stay tuned.